Howdy everyone, this is Mobot, this is the Diamond Society, and welcome back to episode number 118, and very well possibly the last episode of this season, as 114 is on its way. The official release date has been announced for a couple days from when I'm filming this, so we've got some work to do before the new season starts. We got a whole lot still left to do. As you'll have noticed in the intro, time-lapse, this big cube thing is new. It's not really a cube, it's a lot longer than a cube. But anyway, there's one on both sides. We're going to put a farm in each of them. We're going to have storage right here. So one side's going to be cactus, one side's going to be sugarcane. We're probably going to end up doing those in time lapses because there's so much work that needs to get done in this episode, as I mentioned. And if we go ahead and fly up here, you'll see exactly what I mean. There's that one on that side and that one on that side. We also added a couple of extra beacons back here, so we've got some haste and I think jump boost back here, so it'll make building the farm just a little bit easier. We might also put something up here. Originally I was going to have a villager farm up here. We're not going to be able to get to that. Just getting the villagers over here alone might take until the new release. So maybe we'll put something up here, just like a small statue or something, but it's the very least of my concerns right now. I have a whole list of stuff sitting here at my desk of things that need to get done, and the clock is ticking away. So we're going to go ahead and get started and see what we can come up with. One of the things that needs to get done is the nether tunnel, and I've already started. As you can see, I've done a lot of off-camera work just so that we can get this whole thing done within just this one episode. This goes off back toward the nether hub. We used to have a tunnel on the other side of this that went also back to the nether hub. We blocked that off, and we blocked it off on the other side as well. We're keeping the same theme going around here that we've had in our base with the dark oak and the stones. So we've got the end portal right here, or the stronghold, and then the ink farm we also moved over a little bit. So it's right there and everything is now in line. I haven't checked to make sure that that links up though, so I should probably do that. We have the floor all dug up right now, but we have a shulker box over here with a whole lot of items in it, and that's all going to go at this height right here. So we're going to have kind of like a half slab drop off on the edge, and then we're going to come back through here and we're going to make them all the random blocks just like we did with the road in the overworld. So I'll actually take this out for now, seeing as how, like I said, it's all going to be random blocks. We're not going to have those big clusters of gravel like that. And while I'm at it, this is the first episode of the Diamond Society where I have had for the whole episode a new microphone, and I don't think I have it set up right. I didn't have it set up right in the last episode, that's for sure. I was playing with it a lot through each clip, and I kind of have something I'm okay with, but for some reason it seems to be recording through just the left ear. So I'm not sure if that's a setting I have set wrong or if it's meant to do that. I honestly have no idea. That even could just be a fault of my recording software, having some change with that possibly. But worst case scenario, I'll just throw it into a separate program and change it into a stereo track, and that will all be set like that. Or maybe not a stereo track. I think it is a stereo track, but it'll have to just be, I guess, equalized better. Is that the best way to say that? Possibly. While in the nether, I'd come out here looking to get up to the gold farm above this bedrock and realize that somebody's come along and finished off this tree, and it is absolutely fantastic. I just want to give a quick shout out to whoever did this. I think it was Cortez. I can't be 100% sure on that, but anyway, we have this concrete path here that comes on up and then wraps up to that tunnel there, which goes off to the Greco-Roman area. We've got another one going off in that direction, which goes up to, I think, an old UHC base. And then we have the tunnel going through here that goes up to the gold farm. This is done absolutely fantastically. I love how everything fits together. It looks incredible. But anyway, let's jump off here. Hopefully we're actually going to be able to fly. We are. Absolutely fantastic. Looks like everybody's actually been doing their nether tunnels as well. Very, very happy to see that. Anyway, here we have ours. So I went through and I did up the walls and everything, and we got the floor in. The walls were done before. But anyway, we have the main base, my ink farm, the guardian farm, and the stronghold all off in this direction. And if we go ahead right on through here, you'll see all this is done, which is absolutely fantastic. We walked through here earlier, but now we actually have all of the ground done, and I think it came out pretty well. It definitely gives that same feeling that we have going on at our other base. Anyway, let's go ahead. Here's the farming base. If we go ahead and pop through here, very happy to actually have the floor in here now. And let's go ahead and plop right down. Let's try not to fly. There we go. And if we go ahead on right the way through this portal here, we come on out and boom. So, guardians right away. But anyway, looking up, ready to do the farm now. We have on both sides, these squares now have their storage areas, and they have some platforms running off into a dispensary system. So just a whole bunch of hoppers. Nothing's going to spawn under there because those are bottom half slabs. Nothing's going to spawn up there because it's all covered in water, and it's outside of the Guardian Temple, so we don't have to worry about Guardians spawning in there either. So now it's time. I think we're going to put cactus on this side. We'll get to that one in a little while, but first off, it's time. We're going to get some cactus farming going on in here. This is actually an even number of blocks. I had to build it around the temple here, which is I think 58 by 58 if I recall correctly. So we had to take some liberties basically in order to make that work quite right. So building on the even, which I don't necessarily like to do, but that means that the cactus farm, which is generally built on an odd, is going to have to be built a little bit differently because cactus cannot grow right next to each other. So we're probably going to have like a 2 wide gap in the middle. It's going to look like 2 big columns of cactus, and they're all going to fall down and filter right in. Not a big deal though. It's still going to look pretty cool, I think. With that all done and complete, now we are back over at Monheim. The Nordic Village's place is looking absolutely fantastic. I love being here. Anyway, we did some work over here. This is the Hall of the Fallen, aka our mob head collection. I apparently cannot walk through the door. We are on the inside here, and now this used to be just a hallway going up to the upstairs, and we've changed this up. I've added a whole bunch more to add in the rest of the mob heads that we've collected throughout the season. So we walk in and we've got the 2 here. And then like I said, we used to just have this hallway, but now it expands along the back. So we've got a whole bunch of sheep. We've got a couple of other hostile mobs, and that goes along the back. And we've got our horses together here at the end. So I tried to keep all the similar ones together. And for the most part, I was able to do that. Cow. And we go ahead on up here. Same thing. I added the creeper in right in the center. And then I tried to keep the magma cubes together with the slime. We've got our zombie heads up there, or at least most of our zombie heads. And then we've got a couple of random mobs over there. Our fish are together. Some neutral mobs right there, or some passive mobs, I think, rather they're called. A couple of our ocean guys are sticking together. Our 2 guardians together. A couple of the ones that you can kill with Bane, whatever, arachnids or whatever they're called. I'm not quite sure. I don't think a silverfish is an arachnid, but nonetheless, they are fairly similar. And then we've got our 2 player heads together as well. So this is all coming together very, very well. On the inside, instead of keeping constant with the coal block, I did some black glass, and on the inside you can kind of see there's some water dripping down. And if we press right up, yeah, you can kind of see it. Let's take the head off. Can you see a little bit better? There we go. And just some water dripping down into the black. So kind of hidden, so I didn't have to go too over the top with it. Just a big hole with some water in it, basically. But that little bit of detail, I think, really adds a lot rather than just having the solid black blocks back there. And as we head back over here during the gray skies, this farm looks kind of neat, actually. So we actually had to skip 2 blocks also over here because it is a square, which means it's even on all sides. But anyway, it still came out pretty well. I think the glass in there combined with the sand looks really, really neat. And I've brought over a bunch of cactus that I already had back at the other base. Probably about half this chest was already farmed up. So in a couple hours of AFK, we've gotten probably about 2, maybe 2.5 stacks. 2.5 rows rather of cactus, which is pretty neat, honestly. So we are going to be still building the farm on the other side. And when we walk over there, I want to quick mention that I fixed the issue with the left ear audio. Turns out I had my system settings to record in 2-channel which is essentially a stereo track, and that meant that having just one mic was recording only on the first channel, aka the left ear. So I changed that over to record in one channel, so it now records in mono, and everything should be balanced. I did fix the issue, however, just by editing the audio in the previous clips, so hopefully it doesn't sound too different, although this issue shouldn't continue moving forward, so getting better every time. Anyway, we have over here the storage already, as I mentioned earlier. It's the exact same as on the other side, with the water flowing over into all the hoppers, dumps them all off into these chests here. This is going to be a sugarcane farm, and I'm thinking we're probably going to have 4 rows of sugarcane, maybe 1 on that side, 1 on that side, and then 2 down the middle, and then it'll push all the sugarcane off to the sides. Now, these cannot be auto-harvested in the same way that the cactus are, such that, you know, when the cactus grow, if it's next to another block, it just pops off and falls right in. These are going to have to be a little bit different. We're going to have to set up a timer. I don't think it'll be too hard. The only issue is that we do have water behind here, so maybe we could do something underneath, or possibly do something with a daylight sensor. That could work. In fact, that's probably the best way to do it. Maybe a daylight sensor running into an observer block or something to get a single pulse. We don't have to worry about shooting out blocks because we aren't pushing any blocks. The pistons only push off the sugarcane. So you'll see what I mean a little bit better once we get this thing done. It is getting darker and darker out there. So anyway, let's go ahead and roll a second time lapse trying to get this all done. And just like that, we now have a sugarcane farm. Look at that. You can even see some of the pieces growing in there. This goes up fairly high. You can see him start to fire. I did end up putting that daylight sensor back there, so every time it ticks, a pulse fires and it's going to fire off. So every certain number of daylight ticks that go by, it's going to fire. I think it's something like 12 ticks during the day, or 10 ticks during the day maybe, and 10 ticks at night. There's 15 total, so maybe it's 5 at night, something like that. I'm not exactly sure how it breaks down, but it's going to fire off fairly rapidly. And we have all this grow up. There's some issues with it. I'm not really too worried about it, though. I think you maybe saw, yeah, you can see there's a piece floating right there. How can we look at that? Right there. So sometimes, like, these upper ones are going to fire it down, and it's going to come down kind of at an angle and land on one of the lower ones. That's a bit of an issue. I guess I could go through there and maybe in the middle put like fences or something. In fact, that might actually be the way to go. And there's also mobs down there. You can see the skeleton right there. There's a spider right there. Not too worried about it. It's not going to interfere with anything. The mob cap could potentially impact the guardian farm, so maybe I can try to hide some lights in there, but I'm not quite seeing the best way to do that. Pretty much every block in there is necessary, and so adding any kind of light in there could throw that off. And that's probably just going to have to remain like that because of that. But as you see, there's a lot of sugarcane growing. I brought some over from the other base, and we already have some going as well. I think like 2 stacks already just in the time that I've been building it. So it was firing off as I was building it, as you probably saw in the time lapse. And that has continued to go. I've literally just finished it, so that's pretty good. There's just one last thing that we have to take care of while we're still over here. Let's fire that. Oh, we're not going to make it. Oh, wait, did we? Okay, so there's one last thing that we have to do while we're over here, and that's to head on right the way down here, over here, right next to the nether portal. We have this little room here. We've got a load of supplies in here, and I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to take everything that I can back to the main base, and then seal this room off, and then call it complete. And now with that mess taken care of, that is the end of the season. We did a whole lot. There's always more, though, that I wish I could have done. We are standing here on the boat where our nether portal is, and it's time to lock everything up in this chest here. There's all of our armor. We'll put our weapons down here at the bottom. We might as well put them in the same order. Why not? Not a full stack of fish there. And there's our arrow and our fireworks. And that's it. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed. Stick around for next season, and I'll see y'all then.